Good day, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Fayette Focus. Harry Wright with you today. My guest from Ohio Means Jobs Fayette. We got Bob Brown. Bob, how are you?
Just fine, Harry. It's always good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, it's always good to have you, Bob, because you have great information. Now, tell us what's going on now in the job situation.
Well, job situation right now, the unemployment rate here in Fayette County is actually the lowest it's been in quite a while, and actually I have quite a few employers that are begging for people. The last couple of weeks we've had lots of different temp services and different employers in the surrounding area coming in looking for employees, so they still need more, so that's always a good sign. So you can come in, we'll help you do a resume, you can apply right online, then they contact you, so it's very convenient. That's the biggest thing now people need to brush up on is their computer skills, and we'll teach you how to apply for jobs online.
Now, tell us what kind of jobs are available.
Various manufacturings, lots of warehousing. Warehousing's huge in Ohio right now. So as we've moved out of a lot of manufacturing areas, we still need goods. So they store them, and so they need transported. So in warehouses, so you need storage, ability to run a forklift, those types of things, so that you can fulfill the orders out of those distribution centers.
So kind of like a pick and pull, you know.
A lot of pick and pull, that type of work.
There you go. So if somebody out there has those kind of skills, you can drive a forklift and you can read a bill of lading and decide what location to go get what. There's a job opportunity for you.
Absolutely.
Now, what else? Tell us a little bit. Some people might not know about Ohio Means Jobs Fayette and what services you provide.
Sure. Well, right now there's an Ohio Means Job Center in each county of Ohio. Here in Fayette County, we're at Southern State Community College. It's housed inside the college library on this campus, so it's very conveniently located out on Leesburg Avenue, just past the fairgrounds.
So it's really convenient to get to, and you help people with all aspects of obtaining a job.
All aspects. Today, just this morning, we've been very busy. I've had people come in. I've helped them tweak up their resume, store it. We do store it out there at the Ohio Means Jobs Fayette so that they can pull it up and modify it at any time, teaching people how to upload them into the new online job apps. We've worked with various things today, helping people set up accounts. I set up a person's email account. They'd never had one before. Well, we got to have them now, so we show them how to use that. We do provide, if you would happen to see a job ad where it says fax us your resume, we provide faxing services. Job and Family Services picks up the tab for that, so there's no cost if it's an employment-related fax. So that's a great service, because that can be kind of costly if you go to the library or someplace.
Absolutely, it is. So it's really nice to be able to go and get that kind of assistance and not have it cost you anything.
Absolutely.
Because big savings there. Now, you got some things coming up. Tell us about them.
Actually, yeah, we do, thanks. We've got the Summer Youth Employment Program. That is sponsored by Fayette County Job and Family Services, so we're starting to get all that ready. So right now, that is for young people ages 16 to 24. We can start, if we get employers on board or some job sites on board, we could start potentially as early as May the 1st. I know school's still going on, but some of this age goes up to 24, so they may be out of school already.
Right.
And I know school seems to get out earlier and earlier each year, it seems to me, and start earlier and earlier in August. So that is coming up. That is positions both in the private sector and also the public sector. So we have very diverse amounts of types of employment for young people, so they can learn skills and hopefully move themselves forward. Applications are available at Fayette County Job and Family Services at the Ohio Means Jobs Fayette County office. You can also pick them up at Fayette County Community Action, the Well, and at Rose Avenue. We will soon have them at the schools. I don't believe she's gotten them out there to the school districts yet. But that program is sponsored by Job and Family Services, so it's TANF related. And so the guidelines for that, there has to be a minor child in the home, so a 16, 17-year-old could be that minor child. And then it is income based. Right now it's at 200% of the federal poverty level, which actually is quite high for 200%. A family of four, the gross monthly income would need to be less than $4,042. So I'd say most people would qualify for that.
Right.
If the youth is 18, 19, there either needs to be maybe a sibling in the house, another minor child, since they're at 18, they're no longer minor, or they need to be a parent themselves and have a minor child. So it has to be tied. There has to be a minor child in the home as the base eligibility, and then we look at the last 30 days of income. So you do need to provide the verification of your employment or your source of your income at the time of application. Then you can turn those back in, and hopefully we can get a lot of young people placed this summer and help them learn new things.
Do you find that it's hard to place the young people, the teenagers?
Sometimes it is, just because of the minor labor laws or various things, but we have been pretty lucky in the last 2 or 3 years being able to find placements for the young people. I don't really think we've turned too many away. There might be where they didn't turn in their income verification. We kind of need that because that's a qualifier for the program. So.
Right.
But we've actually had very good luck with some of the young people. A few of them actually have gotten hired on permanently as a part-time to help them out, and help the family out. So it's a great thing.
It is a great thing. What else do you have for us?
Well, on April the 10th, we're, of course, a 5-county partnership. We're High Means Jobs Fayette, but we're also work with Highland County, Clinton County, Greene County, Montgomery County. And so I want to give a plug to Highland County, because you have a lot of listeners in the Highland County area as well. We certainly listen to Buckeye Country there. High Means Jobs Highland County, they are having a job and training fair on April the 10th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. They're at 1575 North High Street in Hillsborough. I know that Tara's worked very hard of getting a lot of employers there. I gave her some contact information. We had contemplated doing one ourselves. We decided really, let's just work together instead of having that. So I gave her some of my contact information. So some Fayette County employers are going to be there as well, and then there'll be some temp services that have placements here as well. And also, I'll put my Southern State hat on. Our Career Services is having a job fair, and that is Wednesday, April 15th. Now, that is at our North Campus in Wilmington. And Tom Payton, a local person here in Fayette County, Washington Courthouse, well known. He's our Career Services person, and he's worked very hard to get a number of employers together. I'll be there for a little while. We'll have a booth set up showing people how they can use a highmeansjobs.com.
So similar to the things that we talked about here, like you'll show them if they come into your office, you can show them this too. But here's a chance for a lot of people to see it at Wilmington.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be happy to walk you through that. We did that last week with our graduating seniors or our graduating students at the college. I had a booth set up at our graduation fair on each of the 4 campuses, and showing them how they could create a resume and put it on a High Means Jobs and look for employment, because now we need them to work. They went through school, now they got to get a job.
Well, sounds like things are very, very, very busy there at Ohio Means Jobs.
Very busy.
If someone has some questions or needs to contact you, Bob, how can they?
Well, they can call my number at 740-333-5115, and my direct extension is 5685.
My guest today on Fayette Focus from Ohio Means Jobs Fayette, Bob Brown. Bob, thank you very much.
Thank you, Harry. It's always a pleasure.
Good day, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Fayette Focus. Harry Wright with you today. My guest from the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. We got the man himself, Sheriff Vernon Stanforth. Vernon, how are you today?
Thank you. Very well.
We've had some tragedy happen to us here in the county over the past, and your office is... I tell you, I don't know how you guys do it. You guys, you deal with the traffic stuff all the time, but boy, when something like this comes around, I don't know how you do it. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to with the little 2-year-old.
No, when you have bodies of water surrounding on multiple sides of the property, and you always think the worst, but you have to. We tried to prepare and do what we could, and because the child could be on land and it could be on water, so we were doing both, as well as criminal investigation on the side, which we normally initiate as soon as we have a missing child as protocol. So we're doing a multifaceted investigation, which will include the search and hopefully the rescue or inevitably the recovery.
Right, and of course, found out that the little boy. They found the body, and the little boy had passed away. It just drives home how fast, when you're talking about little children, how fast a tragedy can happen.
It's, a blink of the eye. You think of a The guy's 2.5, 3 years old, and if you're in town, you know your child's used to walking on smooth surfaces, but this terrain has been this is where he learned to walk, and he was adapt to that environment, and it was unfortunately he was so comfortable with his environment at that age. But and children have very little fears, and the brain doesn't process fear unless we teach them to be afraid of something, and apparently that just wasn't registering that it was a dangerous area. It doesn't know danger; it knows punishment and whatever, those type of things. But it's a very sad situation for the parents.
Sad for the whole community. I mean, we've lost one of our own, and unfortunately didn't even get a very good start in life yet. He was just still 2.5 years old, and
but it was a happy 2.5 years.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt.
Just seeing the family and the interaction of the family, and talking with not only the immediate family but the extended family and friends. The child was well cared for and well loved.
Well, that's fantastic, and unfortunately, it didn't turn out a sad Easter story for us on this year. But you got some other things going on at the Sheriff's Office. We've got summertime coming up. Motorcyclists are out. People probably ought to watch out for them.
Well, motorcycles been out a lot. As soon as the weather gets just a little bit, maybe could be nice, you'll see motorcycles out. And this year it's not been any different this winter. We've seen motorcycles out any given day that they just bundle up and go. That they love those motorcycles, but at the same time they present a lot of danger. The motorcycles themselves don't present the danger. It's the fact that motorists are not always in tune with watching for motorcyclists. So we encourage the reflective gear and really encourage everybody to wear headgear. A little tumble on a bike can be fatal with a head strike on pavement, and that helmet can make that difference on a just tumbling off your motorcycle. In a very, very minor accident, it can become a very deadly accident. So
it sure can. I mean, it takes just one good blow to the head. I mean, we hear about concussions in football and everything else, and it doesn't usually take much sometimes if you're hit just right. That
we do the same thing with seat belts. If you got your seat belt on, and you're more than likely to stay within the passenger compartment, which is the safest area of the vehicle, and without that seat belt, you can be ejected so easily, and the ejection is what can be deadly. Sometimes the crash itself can be deadly, with seat belt or not. I understand
right.
that, and I've seen those situations. But the vast majority of those that are ejected, if they had the seat belt on, the passenger compartment would have provided them that added protection, and maybe not from injury, but perhaps from death.
You hear that a lot here in the news business. On the radio, we will read a story about a fatality, and it'll say, so and so was ejected from the car, and you hear that more often than not when you're dealing with a fatality, because when you get thrown out, you have nothing protecting you. Now you're going to hit the ground. You could hit a tree. The car could roll over top of you.
And when you leave that car, you're going the same speed the car is going. So your body is being propelled at that speed until it just goes far enough, it just slows down and loses momentum and falls to the ground. More than likely, when it hits whatever it hits, whether it be a tree, a building, the ditch, your body is going to have that impact at the same speed that vehicle is going, and the body cannot withstand that type of impact.
That's a good call, because we hardly ever feel like we're moving when you're inside of a car, but whatever that speedometer says you're doing, your body's traveling that fast too. So you want to be careful of that. Of course, we've got kids coming out now bicycling. We need to look out for them. Sometimes that young one on a bicycle doesn't pay attention to traffic. Traffic's got to pay attention to them. And so that's coming out too. Any special different kind of problems the Sheriff's Department is presented with when spring, summer rolls around?
We have, of course, you have farmers in the field. You have farm equipment on the roadway. It's always a big concern as far as traffic-wise. We have the end of the school year. We have a new batch of spring comes, and we have a new batch of children that yesterday had no license, and today they do have a license. So we have novice operators on the roadway, especially in the springtime. Seems like, especially in the spring, which is always a great concern. They're bound to have an accident or even just a fender bender, and it's just devastating to them. And but it's a big learning curve for them, the rite of passage
Right?
in our society at least. We have a lot of things going on. Do want to mention, well, it's on top of my mind is Saturday at Iman Park. We are celebrating Child Abuse Month. April is Child Abuse Month, and we're going to have an event that's being coordinated and put on at the Iman Park. It's a community picnic. It's going to be food. A lot of the area businesses are participating, bringing in different types of food and hot dogs and pizza. And for the kids, we'll have some activities for the kids. We're trying to get different groups to participate in displaying what they may have as far as helping children that are in crisis. We have that event will be going on all day Saturday at the park. We really encourage people to bring their kids down. It promises, according to the weather forecast, to be a nice, pleasant day. So it'll be a nice day to get out at the park and just roam around a little bit and see what we have out there for the children, and let them eat their hot dogs and see what kind of games they may have or activities they may have for the kids.
Sounds like a fun and informative day that parents probably want to mark on your calendar. Saturday, head to Iman Park and have some fun. Do you have anything else for
we
the
have,
listeners?
not only that, the event's not only for child abuse, but child abuse takes different forms. I mean, it's not just, we hear of the horrendous acts where they beat the child, or it's, they burn the children, but it can be such a small thing as humiliating the child, and bullying, which we think of as only a school activity, but you look on Facebook and our children are learning to bully from adults that are posting on Facebook. It's the breeding ground for bullying. And
Well, because I think
this needs to stop, and it's such an abuse. You're abusing the child's mind, and he's just everything is they're degrading the other party, and typically as children. This needs to come to a stop.
unfortunately, people feel safe by saying anything they want on a social media site, because I hate to use it. It's easier to lie to somebody on the phone than it is face to face. Well, it's really easy to go overboard and be outrageous with your comments on social media because you think you have that protectiveness of not being face to face with these people. But in reality, you can't. You have to act civil on Facebook the same as you do in person.
There has to be some responsibility and accountability for those hurtful words.
There does. You're absolutely right, and you are right too about the fact that the invisible abuse is the verbal abuse, telling someone that they're not worthy or they're not good enough, or you tell somebody that enough in their life, especially a child, they're going to start to believe it, and now you have self-esteem issues which will go far into their adulthood. And you're right, it's all got to stop. We really need to just start being nice to everybody,
And it's so much easier to be nice.
and it's nicer. I mean, your community is a better place.
What's the old saying? It takes fewer muscles to smile than it does to frown.
Sure does.
So you have to put the effort out to be miserable, and some people put a big effort out.
Yes.
But they can be so nice, just so easy, and that's all. In society, that would be so nice if people just would turn on their nice button.
Turn on your nice button. That's a great thing to say. Turn on your nice button. And it's kind of weird, but the entire Harry Potter series, the thing that I got out of the best statement I got out of the whole thing was at the end of the last book, when Professor Dumbledore said, "Words are magic. They have the power to heal. They have the power to hurt." And that's what there's where our magic is in our life. It's in words. You can heal somebody with words, or you can hurt somebody with words. And Vernon and I are hoping that everybody out there listening will start healing with words instead of hurting. That would be great, because bullying, we have no place for it. It doesn't matter whether it's in schools, whether it's in our communities. We have no place for bullying. It needs to go away. What else do you have for us today?
Well, we're always busy. Our jail is full,
Unfortunately.
But we have a lot of alternative corrections programs that are out in place. It's operating through both courts. We have a lot of rehab facilities that we're able to get a lot of our residents in somebody that's unfortunately many of them had to be arrested and into the process to be willing to go to a rehab center to get off of the drugs and so forth. But we're seeing it. We still have the ill effects of heroin abuse, but that's all across the country and all across the socioeconomic areas. I can't say we're winning the war. It's not. It's something. And I hate to categorize it as a war,
Right.
Because we look at it as a community, but in reality, it's individuals. I mean, these individual lives are being lost, and we need to do as much as we can to salvage those lives and give them some alternatives and try to give them the help. Heroin is such an addictive drug. Once they're on it one time, and it's an addictive. Your addiction is there, and you've got to be able to conquer that. And it's such a difficult time. Just think of how you don't have chocolate for a couple of days. Now we're kind of tired of chocolate today.
Today, yes.
But by the end of the week, we're going to want another M&M.
Yeah, exactly.
And and our body, we like that sugar high we get from eating chocolate. And it's typically a good thing. It can be a bad thing as well. And heroin can never be good. But just so people that aren't on heroin, they don't sometimes understand the addiction process, and it's
Of all the social problems that we've had in our country, I think heroin is the worst because heroin knows no boundaries. It doesn't matter whether you're poor, whether you're rich, what race you come from, what religion you believe in. It destroys lives equally.
But you do any historical studies, heroin was a problem 200 years ago. And it's and worldwide. I mean, it's been something that's been out there, and so we're not breaking new ground. The advantage we have is we have the technology and hopefully the drugs that can counter some of that addiction and the overdoses that we're seeing, and hopefully saving some lives. That would be
the thing. Boy, if we could get rid of heroin out of Fayette County and out of the world, wouldn't that be great?
And it would be great. That's our goal, but. It's a lofty goal.
It is a lofty goal. My guest today on Fayette Focus, and I can't thank him enough for taking time out of his very busy day, Fayette County Sheriff's Office, Vernon Stanforth, Fayette County Sheriff, thank you so much.
Once again, thanks for the invitation.